Yay, depth year review. I mean, okay, honesty. How much of my depth year has just gone entirely out the window? I mean, a fair amount at this point. It's just a little bit ridiculous. But now that we're in the month of June and it's Gemini season, chaos overflowing, it'll be fun. And I'm also a Gemini. My birthday's in 2 weeks. There are some things that just... Mwah. 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 And like, I think overall, my ideas of what I wanted to accomplish in the depth year when it comes to focusing more on why I'm purchasing things, for what reason, you know, am I spending more money on experiences, that type of thing, I think worked out decently enough. And also, like, I want to focus more on my creativity. I've been doing that. I've been wanting to do other things though that have just kind of entirely fallen to the wayside. Like, I'm sorry, all of the books that I have been reading, attempting to read so I don't purchase any more books. One thing I have not purchased a single book, which, bravo to me. Partially, I think the only thing that saved me, I think, in the month of January was the whole fact that I was moving and I didn't want to put it in a box. And then since I've been here, I've walked around bookstores. I've had the like allure to buy a book. A lot of people have been like poking me saying like, hey, you should read this book or get this book or whatever else. I'm like, no, I have to finish the books I have on my bookshelf. Been very good about that. But have I finished the books on my bookshelf? No. And part of the reason is the fact that I've just been reading multiples of books, which normally isn't all that big of a deal for me, but for some reason, I don't know if it's the combination of books or what's going on, but that's not really working for me. And letting some things go and changing the rules up and all that, I think, has helped a little bit. But I think last month when I decided to switch up some things, I needed to have way more concrete ideas of how to do that. Because when I sat down with my pillars and decided this, and this, made some personal policies, I figured, ooh, okay, so let's make some really more structure to the rules, I guess, type of deal. Like, here's a rule and then a habit that has to go along with it, I think might help out the depth year in some way, shape, or form for me to actually like do the things I really want to do. So some of the things that I really wanted to do is, one, read the books, notes. So one, depth year rework. So one of the things that I've realized, and I explained this last year in my last month review of the depth year, was that there are a lot of experiences and things that involve me kind of spending money alone, but I like doing alone, if that makes sense. So I want to do more of that. And so allowing myself to do things like spend time at coffee shops, etc. and so forth, I think is actually a really great incentive for reading. I don't know, it kind of feels like a luxury having the time to read by myself at a coffee shop, just like getting my latte, sitting down, have a great time. So I think I'm actually gonna do that, read more books. So I'm gonna say like 3 times a week I have to go to a coffee shop and sit down and just read whatever book I'm trying to get through at the moment. 2, the other thing I really wanted to do a lot was study the runes. And other than like pulling one every once in a while for along with my tarot readings, is kind of like a guiding thing, I haven't really been doing that. So I think I want to do once a week, I will sit down with the runes and be like, okay, this is the rune I'm researching. We're going to do a lot of Googling, look it up, see what I can pull out from stuff, and go on from there. I also kind of want to go through my closet and the things I like and dislike and haul, you know, something about purchasing things when it comes to clothes, makeup, jewelry. I haven't purchased any makeup other than to refill stuff. So I guess I was kind of good on that realm as well. I've been kind of getting through stuff. I got through one entire my foundations, which is pretty good. I still have 2 more that I'm working through. I ran out of concealer, so I had to buy more concealer, which was nice. That happened last week. And then I've been having to replace things like deodorant, dry shampoo, conditioner, like this. That's normal. But one of the things I kind of want to do is I kind of want to go through everything outfit wise and stuff wise and do a little bit of maybe a Marie Kondo situation again. It's been a little while since I've done that. I kept saying I should go through all my stuff and purge a little bit here now that I've lived here for a while, but I haven't done that yet. And I think that if I do that, it will help me to remember some of the things as to like why, like I purchased a couple things here or there only when shopping with friends, which was my new caveat to my depth year as of last month. And I think that's going so far pretty well. The only thing that I kind of needed recently was that I have a pair of tennis shoes. They've now got a hole in the top of the toe, so well, I guess it's a replacement, so it's not really breaking anything. I need to replace my tennis shoes, so there's that. But I'm contemplating buying some new shoes for my birthday because I need a pair of like dancing shoes that are comfy but are also sandals that I can go out in and actually have a great time. So I might be purchasing something like that. And also I really want to be looking into a lot of the mythology more so when it comes to my deity specifically and their surrounding myths and some of the characters or the gods that surround them a lot of times. Like I know that Persephone's had interactions with like Hecate, and you know, other than Hades I haven't really looked into much. I've looked into Demeter here or there, but I haven't really, you know, poured into my mama's mama all that much. Same thing with Loki. He's causes all sorts of crazy stuff to happen, and I don't really necessarily know how he's affected multiples. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like I want to dive deeper into their surrounding myths and stuff. So I also think what I'm going to do now, so I'll do June is Persephone, July is Loki, and then I'll do August is Sobek. So each month will be kind of themed-ish around one of them. Maybe I'll do a video on during the months about it. If you guys are interested in that, comment that down below. And finally, I am reworking the hell out of my budget as I looked in my financial pillars and figuring things out, just because now that I have the minor baby steps of things I would like to accomplish, I kind of want to put a really hard date on the calendar and just say, yes, this is what I'm doing, so that I'm actually really focused in on, even if it's just like, okay, every single week that I need to put 50 bucks into the account, or like however much money I decide that goes into the savings account, so I reach my savings goal, so I keep up my spending on track, all that good stuff. And then beyond that, one of the things that I really have noticed, and I've kind of mentioned it before in different depthier parts of these reviews, is the idea of luxury and certain things being extremely luxurious for me in some sense, and I don't even really know why. They just kind of are. And I've said before where I really struggle with, if something I feel is a luxury, then I have a real problem investing in it. What, boo-boo? What? You have food, you have water, what do you need? No. No. So I have an issue investing in it, monetarily and even with my time. There are a lot of things that I could do that are relatively cheap, aka sit in a coffee shop and read a book while I'm there, and instead that feels like something I can't necessarily do because I should be better spending my time on something productive type of deal. And I really would rather not do that. I would rather instead focus on something that isn't so, I don't know, quote unquote productive or in the right lines of certain things. I would rather, much rather, for me to lean into a lot of those luxuries. So one of the things I'm challenging myself to do, and especially when it comes to different things, I've been really interested in getting a reading from someone else. Tarot, oracle, astrology. I would love to get my birth chart read by somebody else. It's been quite a while since I've went into anything and investigated and stuff, just because like I now can read my birth chart and I can understand it, but having a really like experienced astrologer know what they're doing, I think would be really great. Or especially since it's my birthday coming up, getting a year ahead reading, I think it'd be interesting to see what someone else's interpretation of the energies at play within my 27th year of being. Also, when it comes to, again, spending that time with like my books and that type of deal, and then just spending time with spiritual stuff. I find that I realize that a big luxury that I put on overall with stuff is my spirituality. I feel like having the time to spend in it, to confer with my deities, to just do art for a spirituality's sake, for taking sacred baths. So much of what I deem sacred, walking in the woods, even if it's really enjoyable and I really love it, it's always like, oh, I should plan to do that, and then suddenly I don't have the time, I don't have the time, I don't have the time. So very specifically, I think for the rest of the depth year, I really want to focus specifically on curating more spiritual experiences. Maybe taking more spiritual classes, or again, just spending more time in a sacred space, or any space that feels like it has some spiritual connection to me. You know, going by myself and on a hike and exploring different areas, or, you know, going to a spirit metaphysical shop, getting readings, all that stuff. I think it's important to do that and not allow other things to get into the way of it, because now it's not so much of like someone else questioning my spirituality, it's me just realizing, oh, I'm allowing other bits of my life, work, creativity, friends, dating, whatever else, to kind of get in the way, to the point where I'm not spending as much time with my path as I would like. And kind of the fun part about moving here and doing all that was I should have been able to spend a lot more time, and yet I haven't been giving myself that, which I find interesting. So I'm hoping to do more of that in the month of June. And then another thing that I realized when it came to the month of May is that, so I did a year ahead reading way back during Samhain for the Witch's Year. For this month, the month of May, my card was the Two of Swords. Some people see it as a card of peace, of a balance. You know, it seems very, I think the traditional iconography, if I remember it correctly, is a woman sitting there with two swords crossed over. She's in an all white dress and she's like blindfolded. It looks like she's like on a coast somewhere with the Rider-Waite deck. And it's interesting because that specific imagery and that card never really makes me feel peaceful. If anything, it makes me, when it comes up, it seems like a very thing of like, of stuck, you shall not pass, a weird stagnation thing kind of comes up for me. And if you know anything about me, you've been with me for a while here on this channel, you know me and stagnation don't get along very well. And May definitely had a bit of that energy. There was a lot of just not feeling into certain things, and when I did feel into something, I kind of came at a wall, or a lot of just having to rearrange and really get down to the bottom of a lot of different shadows and peeling back different layers. And even though I would push and push and push, a lot of imposter syndrome came up, a lot of creative blocks came up, a lot of worries and overthinking came up. And now that I'm out of it, it feels like, oh, okay, like, whew, like got over the hill, like, I can like breathe for a second, and then I feel empowered to go and do more. But it definitely had that stagnation. It was in a way peaceful, I guess. There wasn't a lot of outside influences of drama. There was a little bit of it when my sister came to visit. Me and her got into a bit of a quarrel, but mostly it was just a lot of kind of reaffirming certain things, like a kind of a finalizing of certain shadows and balances. And part of it, like when I think of like me moving here and stuff, I mentioned before the whole 3-month thing, and so I moved tail end of February, so I kind of think like March, April, May, like those were my 3 months, more so than February, March, April. So May now wrapping up, and that being my 3rd month, it is very interesting. I'm like, okay, so I now know what life is like here. I now know what friendships are like. I know how busy certain things are. I know how my bills go. I know how easy and hard it is to work in this environment. I know how creative or different things that come up, different things that might give me a little more time to worry or give me a little more time to maybe relax. You know, there's different ebbs and flows of every place, and I feel like I finally have kind of like, okay, this is the ebb and flow of this area. This is what's going on here. Which is really, really great, especially because it's June, it is Gemini season now, it is my birth month, my birthday is coming up, it's 27, and some people also said it was something about a Saturn return thingy, about it's like the accumulation of like, okay, now your adult life starts type of deal, some sort of transformation thing, which is very intriguing astrology-wise. I'm gonna have to go look into that. I'm gonna do a video on it if you're interested in what I think the Saturn return, my Saturn return, all that stuff is coming up. Comment down below and I'll make that video. But yeah, so far that has been my May in review. A little bit of restructuring again and finalizing, detailing those structures in. And hopefully the month of June will be really freaking awesome. And I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.